I use it for shopping, to go to church, to do my voluntary work and to go to university.
Stephanie has lived in West Bromwich for over a decade. She lives miles away from the town centre and has a spinal injury, which means the bus is her only way to get around.
I have problems walking long distances, and the building in which I live is predominantly where a lot of elderly people like myself. We have multiple wheelchair users, we have people who are visually impaired. We need to have the buses with close proximity so that we can have a normal life.
Stephanie depends on her bus route, and although government funding brought in to help during the pandemic has been extended, it's still not enough to prevent vital bus routes from closing.
There's been a fall in ridership numbers since the pandemic. It still hasn't returned to those numbers. It's about 15% down on what it was. There's also an increase in costs, fuel costs, and there's also been a shortage of drivers to drive the buses.
One major route being scrapped is the number 45 bus. It travels through communities in the West Midlands, connecting people to their GP, local bank, and carries children to school. Helen has had her bus route cancelled before and understands the struggle. When your route's cancelled on New Year's Day, how did you feel?
Very upset. I was in tears in the bus station, sobbing my heart out.
You felt that emotional about it?
Yeah. It's a lot harder to get buses these days, and especially visiting friends and family.
These days, it seems there is an even greater need for a reliable transport network. Not everyone can drive and have a high street on their doorstep, and the rising cost of living means it's even more expensive to get trains or taxis. These buses are literally a lifeline. The 45 bus Helen was on today is making its final stop mid-April. Diamond Bus run the route and say they had hoped services would have recovered since the COVID pandemic, but bigger operating costs and lack of income have contributed to its closure. Fewer buses will have an impact on wider communities, helping to keep bigger towns and cities thriving. Bradley Harris, 5 News, West Bromwich.